In the talk or discussion between Christian and hopeful in the dungeon, we see the role that counseling and discussion and talk between two friends has in the determination of destiny. Christian felt so bad that he said, "My soul chooseth strangling rather than life." He would prefer to kill himself. But hopeful, true to his name, encouraged him by making him think about the law of God, which said, "Thou shalt do no murder." He also warned him that he who kills another can but commit murder upon his body, but for one to kill himself is to kill body and soul at once. And then he also said that all the law is not in the hand of giant despair. When we are in a difficult problem or difficulty, we feel as if that difficulty is all-consuming and that we can never escape it. But the truth is that God just allowed that difficulty to come to us so that we can learn, so that we can be stronger, and so that we can also help others who would fall into the same difficulty that we have fallen into. The truth is that there are three kinds of laws or rules or wills that operate on the earth. The first is the sovereign law of God. Actually, if God has his way, the earth would be perfect, just as it had been in the Garden of Eden. There's no sin, no death, no suffering, no work. Everything is just perfect. But there's also another will, which is the will of man. In Genesis, God had decreed that man or human beings shall have dominion. This law also stands. Thus, many sufferings on earth occur as a result of the decisions of human beings. It is not God who is responsible for all the problems and difficulties on earth. Had he had his way, life would be just as in the Garden of Eden, perfect, with no suffering. But man had sinned. Man had broken the law of God, and sin had entered the earth, and with it the curse and the suffering. Another law that operates, or another will that operates on earth, is the will of the devil. The devil just wants to destroy and kill. He would tempt the human beings who are weak so that they would disobey the will of God, so that they would follow their own wills and also the will of the devil. These three wills operate on earth. That is why there is so much suffering on earth. But the good news is that God's law is all sovereign. God is most powerful. He just allowed the sufferings for a certain amount of time, for a limited amount of time. And this is also for a good purpose, so that we can learn, so that we can be stronger. Hopeful encourage Christian by saying, "Others, so far as I can understand, have been taken by him as well as we, and yet have escaped out of his hand." Hopeful pointed out to others who have been able to escape from the clutches of giant despair. Who knows but that God who made the world may cause that giant despair may die, or that at some time or other he may forget to lock us in, or that he may in a short time have another of his fits before us, and may lose the use of his limbs. And if ever that should come to pass again, for my part I am resolved to pluck up the heart of a man, and to try my utmost to get from under his hand. I was a fool that I did not try to do it before.